Yeah. Okay, so how are you, Ahmed?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so Ahmed, currently you are in class 8, right?
Yes.
Okay, and has your classes begun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and in which school currently you are enrolled in? Which school you go to?
IISG, sir.
Okay, so currently which chapter is going on in your class?
What, sir?
Which chapter is going on in your class currently?
Rational number, sir.
Rational number. Okay, very good. Okay, so before we start our today's class, okay, I have got few basic questions for you. Okay, so in your class 7, which were the chapters which you studied in maths?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you must have studied about integers. Okay, prior to
Yes,
class
sir.
7, you must have studied about whole numbers as well. Okay, you must have studied about different geometrical shapes as well. How do we find their area? How do we find the perimeters as well? Okay, so if I ask you, what are integers? What are integers? What would you say?
Sir, integers are signs.
Okay, no, integers are not signs. Signs are basically they are positive and negative sign. The sign you're talking about, right? They are either negative or positive. So numbers can also be negative and positive. Okay, but here we're talking about integers. So before we even talk about integers, let's start from basic. Let's talk about the number system. Yeah, number system. We know we have got different types of number from the when you were a kid you must have studied about natural number, right?
Yes, yes.
Which basically are the counting number which we count on our fingers, that starts from 1 and continues up to infinity, right?
Yes.
What if I add 0 to this natural number? This is the collection of natural number that is from 1 to infinity. Okay, what if I add 0 also to this collection of natural number, like this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that will continue up to infinity? Then what would you say about this?
Whole numbers, sir.
That is whole number, right? And we have got negative number as well, right? We have got negative number as well.
Yes, sir.
We can write negatives of this whole number as well.
Yes,
If
sir.
we can write them like this also, -1, -2, -3, -4, that will also continue up to infinity. There's no into that as well.
Sir.
If I ask you, what do we call this collection of positive and negative whole number? What do we call this?
A number line, sir.
Yeah, that's the method of representing these values on a straight line that we call as number line. But what do we call the collection of positive and negative whole numbers? What do we call
Uh,
positive and negative whole number?
I don't know, sir.
Okay, so let's suppose I have got a box here, and in this box I put all these positive whole numbers and negative whole numbers. If I were to put all these values here, like 0, 1, 2, 3, up to infinity, and -1, -2, -3, up to infinity. So this
Okay.
collection of positive and negative numbers in this box, that will be all together called as integer,
Oh,
right, Ahmed?
yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
integers are basically the collection of positives and negatives of whole number. I hope that's clear now,
Yes, sir.
right? Okay, so in your previous class, you must have studied about how do we name the numbers, right? We have got two systems of naming the numbers. One is the Indian system, one is the international system,
Oh,
right?
okay. Yes, sir.
Like how we assign the place values to the number, you must have studied about that as well. Like if I write 7, 8, 2, 5, 6, 7, 3, how would you read this value?
5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, no, my question to you is that in words, how would you pronounce this number?
Uh,
Before even doing that, you actually need to put commas in this number, right? So
yes, sir.
where do
Yes.
we put the commas? Between 5 and 6, between 8 and 2, right?
Yes.
Okay, how do we pronounce this number? How do we read this number then? That's a very basic question.
Yes.
Yeah.
uh,
That you are
7,825,600.
describing as per which system? Are you using the Indian numeral system or the international system of naming the numbers? Because in
Oh,
the Indian numeral system, we don't use millions. But in the international system of naming the numbers, we use millions and billions, right?
yes, sir.
So if you're talking about million, you are actually naming it as per the international system. Okay, so as according to the international system, what will be its name?
7 crores with
No, no, no. That's not crore. You see, if I talk about Indian system first,
oh,
Indian system in which 3 is standing at the ones position, 7 at 10th, 10th position, 6 is at 100 position. What about 5? What is the position of 5?
1,000,
It is at the 1000 position. Then 2 is at
10,000,
10,000. What about 8?
100,000.
No, it is at the lakh position.
Oh,
Okay,
lakh.
it is at the lakh position. And 7 is at the 10 lakh position.
uh,
Okay, so it will be 78 lakh 25,673, right?
Yes,
And
yes,
if
sir.
you were to name the same value as per the international system, what would you say?
7
3
million.
is going to be at the ones position. 7 is again going to be at the tens position. 6 at 100 position, right? 5 is at 1000 position here,
Yes,
right? And
yes,
2
sir.
is at the 10,000 position. Now here's the catch. Instead of assigning the lakh position to 8, you will call it 100,000, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
what about 7?
Million, sir.
It will be million, right? Okay. So the this red ones here are the international system. Okay. And these ones are the Indian system. Okay. So that was about very basic. That was a very basic thing. Okay. So in your previous class, you must have studied about triangles, circles, right?
Yes,
You must have studied about fractions as well. Okay.
yes, that.
So currently we were talking about integers. Here I will give you few values and you have to tell me which one of them is an integer and which one is not an integer. Okay. You know the definition of integer? They are basically positives and negatives of whole number. So here I'm writing few numbers.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Out of all this number, which values are not an integer?
Uh, 1/3
Yeah.
and 3/17.
Okay. So can you say why you have listed out these three values? Why
Because
they are not
sir,
integer?
fraction and decimals are not integers.
Exactly. Very good. Because fractions and decimals are not integer, they are supposed to be whole numbers. Right.
Yes.
Okay. I'm again writing few more numbers. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In this question, you have to find me composite and prime numbers. What are the composite and prime numbers?
Mm, composite. Uh, Composite.
So you see, in your previous class, you must have studied about these two different type of numbers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So prime numbers, first let's talk about prime numbers. What are the prime numbers? Prime numbers are those number which has got only two factors. How many factors? Two factors. Like if I have a number 2, what are the factors of 2? It is 1 and 2, right? Factors basically are those numbers with which the given number is divisible. I mean that 2 can be divided by 1 and 2 can be divided by 2 also, right?
Yes, sir.
What about 5? How many factors are there for 5?
1 and 5.
1 and 5. What about 7?
1 and 7.
1 and 7. So we see these type of numbers have got only two factors. So those numbers which are having only two factors, such type of numbers are called prime numbers, right?
Yes.
And
Yes, sir.
all those numbers which have got more than two factors, they are called composite numbers. So let's write the composite and prime numbers given here. Okay, give it a try and write the composite and prime numbers written here. Write the composite and prime numbers out of these numbers.
Uh, right, which number, sir?
Composite and prime numbers.
Composite and prime number.
Yeah.
Oh, how do I write, sir?
Simply you just tell me which are the composite numbers here. I will write it here.
The composite number. Uh, for 6,
6, that is composite number, and
2,
2. No, 2 is not a prime number. 2 is not a composite number. It is actually the
oh,
prime number.
no, 11.
11. How come 11 is a composite number? So composite numbers are these values. You see, Ahmed, if I have number like 6, 8, 10, or 15, 6 can be divided by which numbers? We can divide it by 1, right? 6 comes in the table of 2 also. So it can be divided by 2 also. 6 can be divided by 3 also. And 6 can be divided by 6 as well. So how many factors are there for 6?
4.
4 factors. Okay. So those numbers which have got more than 2 factors, such numbers are called composite numbers, right?
Yes.
Have more than 2 factors, right? So here
Yes.
6 is a composite number because it has got more than 2 factor. What about 8, 10, and 5? What can we say about them?
Um, 8, 1,
1,
2,
yeah,
4,
okay,
and 8.
and 8. Very good. What about 10?
1,
Yeah,
5.
okay. 10 can be divided by 2 as well,
Oh,
and 5
and 10.
and 10. Similarly, 15 can be divided by 1, 3, 5, and 15. So all of them has got more than 2 factors, right?
Yes.
Okay, I hope that's clear now. That what are prime and what are composite numbers, that thing is clear now. So you can easily write down the number given here. Like
Okay.
composite number, 6 is a composite number, and what else?
Um, Let me see, sir.
After 6, which one is a composite number?
Uh, wait. I um 20.
Yeah, 20 is a composite number.
Wait. Uh, and 25,
25,
and um, I believe
and which one?
I
Are there any more composite numbers here?
no, sir.
No. Okay, that's all. Prime numbers, 2 is a prime number, 7 is a prime number, right? What else?
Prime
We missed one
11.
number. Is 5 also a prime number?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And 11,
and 11.
and
We have
uh,
got more prime numbers. 13, what
I
about 13?
guess 13 and 19
Yeah,
and 97.
97. What about 83?
Oh,
83, it is only divisible by 1 and itself. So 83 is also a prime number, right?
yes.
And at last 97. Okay, very good. Okay. So coming back to the chapter which is currently going on in your school, okay, that's the rational number. Okay. So in rational number, you must have come across questions like find 5 rational number. Has the chapter been finished or is still going in your class?
Yes.
Is the chapter still going on or it is finished?
Oh, it's still going on, sir.
Okay, okay. So if I told you to find 5 rational number, okay, between 5 by 10 and 20 by 10, can you list the 5 rational number between these two values?
5 upon 10 and 20 upon 10. Oh, hmm. 5 upon five five rational numbers. Sure, sir. Sure, why not? 6 upon 10,
Okay.
7 upon 10,
Yeah.
8 upon 10,
Okay.
9 upon, and 10 upon 10.
Or that we can simply say as 1 upon 10. Oh, that is 1. 10 upon 10, that is 1. Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so these are the 5 rational number between 5 upon 10 and 20 upon 10. Right.
Yes.
Or you can write these values in the decimal form as well. Like 5 upon 10 can be written like 0.5, right? And 20 upon 10 can be simply written as 2. So you can list out the number between 0.5 and 2 as well, like 0.6, right? Here you have got 0.5, here you have got 2. 0.5, where did it came from? It is basically 5 upon 10, right?
Oh,
When you divide 5 by 10, you will get 0.5. And where this 2 came from, it actually is the same number as 20 upon 10. Where did we got this value? When you will divide 20 by 10, you will get 2. So in
okay.
between 0.5 and 2, we can find the rational number in the decimal form as well. Like 0.5, after 0.5, what will be the number? It will be 0.6, right? Then 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, then 1, then 1.1, and so on. Right, Ahmed?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, and so on. Okay. Now, if I give you a question that give me only one rational number between two rational number. Let's say 2 and 3. These are two rational numbers, and find one rational number between 2 and 3.
Uh, we
In this case, how will you solve the question? When you are provided with two rational number, and in between these two values, you have to find one rational number.
oh, uh, so we'll add denominator, sir.
Here, no denominator has been given. It's the numerator value only. Although we can
Oh,
represent them in the form of a upon b, like 2 can be written as 2 upon 1. Okay, or 3 can be written as 3 upon 1.
3/1.
So you see here, how do we solve such questions? So here, 2 and 3 can be written like 2 upon 1 and 3 upon 1. And you have to find only one rational number in between these two. Okay, so in this case, let's say 2 upon 1 is in the form of a upon b, and 3 upon 1 can be written as c upon d. We can just add these two rational number and divide the whole value by 2, like this. 2 upon 1 plus 3 upon 1 divided by 2. So 2 upon 1 can be written as 2, and 3 upon 1 can be simply written as 3. Right, Ahmed?
Sir.
So 2 upon 3, 2 plus 3, that is 5, and divided by 2. That will give you 5 upon 2. And when you divide, we can simply, this can be our answer, or we can write it in the decimal form also. Okay, so 5 upon 2 is 2.5. So the answer to our
Oh,
question is 2.5. Right.
yes,
Okay.
sir.
We can solve one more question also. If you got the process, how do we find a rational number between two given rational number? Let's solve one more question as well. solve this.
7 upon 1 and 8 upon 1 divided upon 2.
Solve the question in your notebook or in your copy, and just tell me the answer.
Oh, okay, sir.
Yeah, Ahmed, got the value?
Sir, I'm solving.
Okay, okay.
7.5, sir.
7.5. That is correct. Okay. In rational number, you must have studied about one more concept, that is of equivalent rational number.
Yes, sir.
Have you studied that?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So if I give you a value and you have to write its 5 equivalent rational number, let's see if we can do that. 5 upon 12. This is our rational number, and you have to write 5 equivalent rational number.
Five.
Okay, this is your value, and you have to write 5 equivalent rational number. Yeah, man. You know how to find the equivalent rational numbers?
Um, I don't remember that one, sir.
Okay, no issue. Okay. Let's say I write few rational numbers here. 5 upon 12, 10 upon 24, 15 upon 19, okay, 20 upon 48, and 30 upon 72. Okay, do you know how to find the simplest fraction? You know, we know how to find the simplest fraction. Like 10 upon 20, the simplest form is 1 upon 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Or if you have 20 upon 30, the simplest form of this fraction is 2 upon 3, right? So the question which I have taken here, let's write the simplest form of these values here. Like this 5 and 12, they are in the simplest possible form. They cannot be written in the written in further simplest form. 10 upon 24. What is the simplest form of 10 upon 24?
10 upon 24, 1 and 2, 1 upon 2.
How come 1 upon 2? It is 1 upon 24.
Oh, 1 upon 24.
It's 10 upon 24. 10 upon 24. The number is 10 upon 24. What is its simplest form? What is the simplest fraction here? How do we find the simplest fraction? We simply divide the numerator and denominator, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So 10, 24, we simply divide them like this, right?
5 upon 12.
5 upon 12, right?
Yes.
We are writing here the simplest form.
Yes.
Okay. What about 15 upon 19?
5 upon 12, sir.
5 upon 12. No, as I told you, we simply divide the numerator and denominator. If it's possible, we divide. Otherwise, we leave them as it is. So
Oh,
15 upon 19, their simplest form can be find out by dividing the numerator with the denominator. So in this case, 15 upon 19 is the simplest form. We cannot divide it further, right?
mm, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What about 20 upon 48?
20, 48.
Yeah,
Uh, upon 48. 5 upon 12.
that is 5 upon 12. What about 30 upon 72?
5 upon 12, sir.
That is also 5 upon 12. Okay. So what did you observe here?
Equivalent fraction.
Equivalent fraction. So which one of these are equivalent fraction and which one is the odd one here?
Uh, 15 upon 19, sir.
15 upon 19 is the odd one here. And all these values are equivalent rational number. Because in all of these cases, you will notice that the numerators and denominators of all these fractions are equal, right?
Yes, sir.
All the numerators except 15 upon 19, right?
Yes, sir.
Except this, all of them are equal. Okay. So now, since you have revised the concept, you can simply write down the equivalent rational numbers here, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So in order to do that, you can simply multiply the numerator and denominator with the same number. That is, it could be 10 upon 24. That is, in this case, we multiplied 5 and 12, both of them by 2, and we got 10 upon 24. Similarly, we can write any number, any given integer. We can write 5 or 10 or 20 or as much required number of equivalent rational numbers, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
if the questions ask you to write 5 equivalent rational numbers, you will simply multiply the numerator and the denominator with 5 different values, both the numerator and denominator, right?
Yes.
I
Yes,
guess
sir.
you can write right now. Okay, so take your
Okay.
time and write the 5 here, 5 values here. Apart from what I have taken here, you don't have to take these values. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Ahmed, are you on it? Are you solving?
5 upon 12.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So,
The values has to be different than these three values. Okay. It shouldn't be 10 upon 24 or this value or this value. Okay.
oh,
It has to be different.
okay. I'll 15 upon 36.
15 upon 36. Okay.
25 upon 60.
25 upon 60.
And 30 upon 72.
That we have already taken.
Okay.
Okay.
These are.
Can we write 35 upon 84? Yeah.
Huh?
Can we write 35 upon 84?
35 upon 84. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, you can take you can multiply the numerator and denominator with another same value, another value, that is 8, right? It will be 40 upon 96. Okay. So these could be our equivalent numbers. These are our equivalent numbers. Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Now, in your class 7, you must have studied about triangles. Okay. So tell me how do you define a triangle and what are the different properties of triangle?
Try how to define a triangle.
Yeah.
Sir.
How do you define a triangle?
So, triangle are have three lines,
You can simply
vertical.
say that any figure that is surrounded by three different sides, okay, three different straight lines, that is called a triangle. Okay, so it could be like this. Okay, it could be like this, in which all the sides are equal. It could be like this, in which only two sides are equal. Okay, or it could be like this as well, in which none of the sides are equal. Okay, so we can draw triangles like this. What about the first figure which I have taken here, in which all three sides are equal? What do we call that?
Yes, sir.
What about the first figure which I have
Can you?
drawn here, in which all three sides are equal? What is its name? What do we call them?
Yes, triangle.
That is a triangle, we know that. But you see, based on the sides, whether how many sides are equal, how many sides are unequal, we categorize triangle into three types. One is the equilateral triangle, okay,
Yes,
in which all three sides are equal. Okay, all three sides are equal. So the measurement of the first triangle ABC, it could be 1, 1, and 1. All of the sides could be 1 centimeter each. Such a triangle in which all three sides are equal, we simply call them an equilateral triangle.
oh,
Right, Ahmed?
yes, sir.
Okay, look at the second figure, in which only two sides are equal. Okay, this one
I
is 1, this one is 1, and this one is 0.5 centimeter.
uh,
Okay, have
isolated
you
triangle.
isosceles triangle? We call that as isosceles triangle.
Yes,
Okay, in which only two sides are equal.
yes, yes.
Okay, see the third figure, figure number 3 here, in which none of the sides are equal to each other. What do we call that triangle?
Uh,
We call such a triangle scalene triangle.
or scalene triangle.
Okay, in which no sides are equal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we know that triangles have got sides. Apart from the sides, what else do we observe in a triangle?
Mm, yes,
Apart from their sides, you can observe that they have got angles as well, right? The angle which is being formed by the two sides of the triangle, right?
oh, yes, sir.
Okay, so if we talk about equilateral triangle, in which all the three sides are equal, what can we say about their angles? Are their angles also same?
The angles are also
What would you say
same.
about its angle? Yeah. So remember
Yes,
this thing, that in an equilateral triangle, even angles are also same. Okay,
yes, sir.
all three angles are same. Okay. Okay. Now, if we talk about a circle, okay, a circle has got a center C. What is the angle formed around the center? What is the
Uh,
angle around the center? Is it 180 or is it 360 degree?
180.
No, the angle formed around a circle is it's actually 360 degree. But if we were to cut down this circle into half, that is, we draw a semicircle. Okay,
Oh,
so
yes, sir.
earlier it was 360 degree. Okay, but now it is reduced to how much? Just the half of it. That is 180
Yes.
degree. Okay, okay. So what else have you studied in triangle apart from their types and the angles?
We have studied, sir, triangle properties and uh, solving triangle equations.
Okay, you're talking about the congruency, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Let's say I have taken it, taken a triangle here, triangle ABC. This is my figure.
Yes.
Okay, and I found out the midpoint of side BC and named it as D. And I joined this midpoint with the opposite vertex, that is A. Okay, so I have taken the midpoint of side BC and joined that midpoint with the opposite vertex, that is A. So this straight line, what do you call that?
Uh, mm,
Here AD is a median. Okay,
mm,
so which you must have studied earlier, that the line which joins the midpoint of a side and its opposite vertex, that is called a median. Okay, Amit.
yes, sir.
Okay. What about altitude? What is the little meaning of altitude? Altitude basically means height, right?
Uh, yes, sir.
Okay. Altitude basically means height. So let's see if I take the same triangle,
Perpendicular.
ABC. Okay. And if I draw, it's a little bit tilted. Let me draw again. This is my triangle. From this vertex A, I draw different lines on the side BC, and they have got different values. Okay. Okay. This value could be, let's say, 110 degree. This could be 95. This one is 90 degree. Okay. And this one is 80 degree. So which line will you use here to best define the height of this triangle?
90 degree.
The line which is making 90 degree with the base BC. Okay. So that is simply called the altitude,
Yes, sir.
or which we basically say that the little meaning of altitude is height. So this line AC here is altitude, right? Okay. So in a triangle, how
Yes.
many medians are there and how many altitudes are there in a triangle? We can draw three medians from each vertex. Maximum three medians can be drawn in a triangle, right?
Yes, sir.
Similarly, maximum three altitude can be drawn in a triangle, right?
Yes, sir.
Like this, we can draw three altitudes in a triangle. Okay. Okay, so that were the few basic things which we discussed. And what else have you studied in your previous class?
Yes, sir.
What else have you studied in your previous class? Have you studied about algebraic expressions? Algebraic expressions. Yeah, have you studied about algebraic expressions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ahmed. So algebraic expressions basically consist of two elements. One is the variable, right? One is the number. Okay. So you must have seen numbers like 4a, right? 4bc, okay, xy, 4xy. So algebraic expressions, they are basically those values which consist of both variables and numbers, which you must have studied in previous class as well. Okay. So coming back to our chapter, that is rational number. Okay. See the PDF here, and I need you to solve a question here. See question number 6.
Oh, okay, sir.
Write 5 rational numbers greater than -2.
Yes, sir.
Write 5 rational numbers which are greater than -2.
Write 5 rational numbers that are greater than -2.
Yeah,
Uh, minus. Oh,
that's very simple.
we will -2 upon 1.
-2 upon 1.
Sir,
-2
can I?
upon 1 basically is -2.
Oh,
You see, you have to write 5 rational numbers which are greater than -2. Let's represent this -2 on the number line. Okay, this is our number line. Okay, here is -2,
sir, -1, 0,
-1.
1,
Yeah,
-0, 1, and 2 and 3.
yeah. These are the 5 values which are greater than -2. So you must have used the number line also to find the rational numbers, right?
First, sir.
Okay. Okay. So currently, which exercise is going on in your class?
Uh, I, I cannot notify that, sir.
Okay. Okay. So see the exercise 1.2, and if there's any confusion in this exercise, do ask me, or if no, then this will be your assignment. Question number 3, okay, and question number 4 are going to be your assignment, Ahmed. Okay, solve these two questions.
Sir, my screen is loading. Oh, it's loaded. Miss, which question, sir?
Uh, Question number 3 and question number 4, which you see in the exercise 1.2, these are your assignments. You can actually add one more question, question number 7 as well. Okay.